Hello everyone, good morning. So welcome to our Mathematics 8 video discussion. So let me introduce first myself to all of you. My name is Marcangelo B. Sarmiento and I will be your teacher for today. And for today's lesson, we will gonna discuss the biconditional, inverse, converse, and the contrapositive statement. So before that, let's have first the learning competencies under MELC or MELC. So for this lesson, we will gonna illustrate the equivalence of the statement and its contrapositive and the converse and the inverse of a statement. So before we start, let's think about this. I have the table below. Okay, this table containing statement, condition, and symbol. And under statement, we have conditional statement, converse, inverse, contrapositive, and biconditional. So later, we will gonna discuss that one by one, part by part. But first, let's have the conditional statement. In the conditional statement, we have the condition if P, then Q. And then the symbol is P, then the arrow towards right, then Q. Okay, this arrow towards right, we are reading this symbol as imply because this is an implication symbol. It implies something. So if we are gonna read this, P imply Q or P implies Q. So this conditional statement containing the condition if P then Q and then the symbol is P implies Q. Did you notice something about this conditional statement? Did you notice something? Okay, I know. I know that you already noticed something about this conditional statement. Why? Because this is your lesson last time. This is our previous lesson. So I know that you are already familiar about this lesson. So since this is already familiar to all of you, the conditional statement, let's have first a recall. What is this conditional statement again? This conditional statement, it is formed by joining two statements with the words if and then. The if statement is the hypothesis and then the then statement is the conclusion. So this is um this is a kind of statement wherein we have two different statements. The first statement we are naming it as a statement P and then the second statement we are naming it as statement Q. And at the end we are combining it by using the conjunction if and then wherein if is pertaining for the hypothesis and then pertaining for the conclusion, the if and then statement. And that is the conditional statement. So this is the symbol and then the condition. If P, then Q. And then the symbol is P implies Q. So let's have first this activity. Let's have this activity. If the triangle is equilateral, then it is equiangular. I will repeat. If the triangle is equilateral, then it is equiangular. What did you notice about this sentence? Did you notice something? Yes, exactly. It was written in a form of if and then statement, right? There is a if wherein our if is what? The hypothesis, and then we have the word then wherein our then is the conclusion. So we have if and our hypothesis is the triangle is equilateral. Then we have the word then follows by our conclusion. It is equiangular. Therefore, if this is an if and then statement, therefore this is under of conditional statement, right? This is under of conditional statement because we have if, the word if, follows by P. What is our P? The triangle is equilateral. This is our P. Then we have Q, the word then, follows by Q. What is our Q? It is equiangular. By knowing that is conditional statement, we can now easily identify what is our P statement and what is our Q statement. And this And in this example, if the triangle is equilateral, if P, therefore, the word if here, and then we have word if in the condition follows by P. So the following statement is the triangle is equilateral. Therefore, we can conclude that this is our statement P. And then the word then, together with the word then here, follows by Q, wherein we have it is equiangular. Therefore, we can conclude that our Q is it is equiangular. So the first step in our lesson is we should identify our P and Q statement. So By knowing it is conditional statement, we can easily identify what is our P statement and what is our Q statement by following the pattern and the condition. So here in this example, since we concluded that we have if P, so if the triangle is equilateral, therefore this is our P. So we can conclude that our P is the triangle is equilateral. Followed by the word then, we have the word then here, follows by Q. It is equiangular. Therefore, we have Q, wherein our Q is it is equiangular. Therefore, we can have Q is equal or Q is it is equiangular. So, question about this part. Okay. So, after identifying our P and Q statement, we can now proceed in our second statement. And what is that second statement? We can use the conditional statement table below as a pattern. So this is our conditional table below, right? So we have the conditional statement, converse, inverse, contrapositive, biconditional. So later, we will gonna discuss that one by one, part by part. So first, let's have the converse. So converse, a while ago, we identify what is our P statement and what is our Q statement. Our P is the triangle is equilateral and our Q statement is equiangular. So by using the converse pattern, what is the converse pattern or the condition? If Q, then P. And then here we have Q implies P. So this converse pattern was constructed in a form wherein the word the word if, we have the word if here, follows by Q. What is our Q? It is equiangular. That's why we have it is equiangular here. Followed by the word then. So the word then here. So what then we have P. So what is our P? The triangle is equilateral. That's why after then we have the triangle is equilateral. So by following the condition if Q, then P, so we will going to have the word if here, if, then followed by Q. So what is our Q? It is equiangular. That's why we have equiangular here. Then followed by the word then, the underline part here. Then followed by Q. So what is our Q? It is equiangular. Therefore, by using this pattern or following this pattern, we can conclude that a converse pattern is, or the converse statement is, if it is equiangular, then the triangle is equilateral. So then next, so let's have first the inverse. Under inverse, the condition is if not P, then Q. I will repeat, if not P, then Q. And then the symbol is we have this, the laying down S. It's like laying down S. This laying down S or nakahigang S sa Tagalog, we are calling it or we are reading this symbol as negate or negation. Why? What is negation? Negation is, it means not. Not. What do you mean by the word not or negation? Negation is you are getting the opposite statement or the opposite meaning of that given statement, the opposition or the opposite. So that's why we have the word not. So if we were gonna read this symbol, we will going to have the negation P implies Q. Okay, so by following the inverse, here in inverse, it is important for us to identify first the negation of P or the opposite statement of P, because based on the condition, we have if not P, so therefore we will get the, what you call this, the opposite statement of P. The triangle is equilateral. What is the opposite statement of that? Obviously, the opposite statement of that is that triangle is not equilateral. So that will be our P. And then what will be our Q? Our Q is, it was already given, so it is equiangular. So by following the pattern, if not P, then Q. So write the word if first. So if followed by not P. So not P means the opposite definition or opposite statement of our P. The triangle is not equilateral because we are pertaining to the opposite part. So that's why we have the triangle is not equilateral, then comma, then followed by the word then, and then our Q. What is our Q? It is equiangular. So by following the pattern of the inverse statement, we can conclude that our inverse statement is if the triangle is not equilateral, then it is equiangular. So that is under of inverse statement. How about the contrapositive statement? So the contrapositive statement here, the uniqueness of contrapositive statement is we need to get the negation of both P and Q, the opposite statement of both P and Q. So what is the opposite of the triangle is equilateral? The triangle is not equilateral. How about the opposite of our Q? It is equiangular. So the opposite of that is it is not equiangular. So later, by using this pattern, if not Q and not P, we can construct our contrapositive statement. So let's follow this pattern. The word if, so copy the word if. So if, then we have not Q. So what is the opposite of not of our Q? It is equiangular. Therefore, there's the word not. So we will going to get the negation or the negate. The negation or the opposite meaning of it is not equiangular. It is equiangular. Therefore, our Q will be it is not equiangular because we are pertaining to not Q or the opposite of Q. Followed by comma here, then copy the word then not P. So we are pertaining to the opposite of P because there's the word not. So what is the opposite of the triangle is equilateral? Obviously, the triangle is not equilateral. That's why by using the contrapositive pattern, we can conclude that our contrapositive statement is if it is not equiangular, then the triangle is not equilateral. That is under of a contrapositive statement. How about in biconditional statement? In biconditional statement, this is easy to understand or easy to identify if the given statement is biconditional. Why? Because once you encounter the word if and only if, it is automatically a biconditional statement. So here, the condition is P if and only if Q. So the symbol is we have P, then the arrow towards both left and right, and then Q. This arrow towards left and right, we are reading this as by condition Q or by condition, by conditional. So we have here B by condition Q. So by following the pattern, P comes first. What is our P? The triangle is equilateral. That's why we have here the triangle is equilateral. And then the by condition symbol, wherein this by condition symbol means if and only if. That's why after P we have if and only if, and this is if and only if, then it is equiangular because it will be after if and only if we should have Q. And our Q based on the given is it is equiangular. That's why by simply following the pattern of biconditional statement P if and only if Q, so we have our P wherein our P is the triangle is equilateral if and only if follows by our Q wherein our Q is it is equiangular. Therefore, our biconditional statement is the triangle is equilateral if and only if it is equiangular. So that is under of biconditional statement. Is this clear? Okay, so let's proceed now to our second example. So if the polygon has exactly 4 sides, then it is quadrilateral. I will repeat. If the polygon has exactly 4 sides, then it is quadrilateral. So what did you observe about this statement? Yes, this statement was constructed in a form of if and then statement, right? It is written in a form of if and then statement. Therefore, if this is an if and then statement, therefore we can conclude that this is a conditional statement wherein our if is the hypothesis and our then is our conclusion. So by identifying the by identifying it is a conditional path statement, we can now easily identify what is our P and what is our Q. So here, by simply following this pattern, if P, therefore if, after if, that is our P, the polygon has exactly 4 sides, that will be our P. Then followed by comma, then we have the word then here. Then after that is we have follows by Q. So therefore, after then this will be our Q. It is a quadrilateral. So that is our step 1, identifying our P and Q statement. So we're done identifying our P and Q statement, wherein our P is the polygon has exactly 4 sides, and our Q is it is a quadrilateral. So let's proceed to the second statement, second step rather, and that is using the conditional table as a pattern guide. So let's proceed first in our Converse. So we our P and Q is now given. So we have the polygon has exactly 4 sides. That is our P. It is quadrilateral, and that is our Q. So by using the pattern the converse pattern, if Q then P, or Q implies P, so we have if the first word if, copy the word if here, then follows by Q. What is our Q? It is quadrilateral. So we have it is quadrilateral here. Then followed by the word then. So we have the word then here. Then we have the word then here. Followed by the word, but followed by the P. What is our P? The polygon has exactly 4 sides. The polygon has exactly 4 sides here. That's why we can conclude by following this pattern. If Q then P, we can now conclude our converse statement is if it is a quadrilateral, then the polygon has exactly 4 sides. So now let's proceed with inverse. Here in inverse, it is important for us to identify the negation or the opposite statement of our P. And what is our P? The polygon has exactly 4 sides. And what is the opposite or opposite meaning of that statement? Exactly. The opposite statement of that is the polygon does not have exactly 4 sides, right? The polygon does not have exactly 4 sides. That is the opposite or the negation of our P. And then by following this pattern, if not P, then Q, we can now construct our inverse pattern. So copy first the word if, then not P. What is the opposite or the negation of our P? The polygon does not have exactly 4 sides. That's the opposite. That's why we have here if the polygon does not exactly 4 sides, because that is the negation of P. Follows Followed by then Q. So we have then the word then here, then Q. It is, what is our Q? It is a quadrilateral. It is quadrilateral. So by following the inverse pattern, we can now conclude that our inverse statement is if the polygon does not have exactly 4 sides, then it is a quadrilateral. So that is under of inverse statement. So now let's proceed with contrapositive statement. So here in contrapositive statement, the condition is if not Q, then not P. Therefore, we need to get the negation of both P and Q. And then the negation or the opposite statement of P is the polygon does not have exactly 4 sides. And then the negation of Q is it is quadrilateral. What is the negation of this Q? It is not a quadrilateral. Okay, so that is the negation. So by following the pattern, if not Q, then P. So let's have this. Copy the word if. So we have if, then not Q. So the negation of Q, what is the negation of Q? It is not quadrilateral. So we have it is not quadrilateral here. Followed by the word then. So we have the word then here. Then not P. So what is our P? This is our P. So the negation of this is the polygon does not have exactly 4 sides. So after then, it does not have exactly 4 sides. So therefore, we can conclude by following the pattern, if not Q, then P, or the negation of Q implies the negation of P. By simply using this pattern, we can conclude that the contrapositive is if the polygon is not a quadrilateral, then it does not have exactly 4 sides. That is under of a contrapositive. How about the biconditional? The biconditional, we have the pattern if we have the pattern P if and only if Q. So or P by condition Q. So let's use this pattern P. What is our P? The polygon has exactly 4 sides. So that's why we have the polygon has exactly 4 sides here, followed by if and only if. So that's why we have if and only if here. Then followed by Q. What is our Q? It is quadrilateral. That's why we can construct the statement by using the pattern P if and only if Q. So we can conclude that our biconditional statement is the polygon has exactly four sides if and only if it is a quadrilateral. So that is under of a biconditional statement. Is this clear? Okay, let's proceed in our third example. If a man is honest, he does not steal. I will repeat. If a man is honest, he does not steal. So what did you observe about this statement? There's no word then, right? There is no word then here. There is no word then. So there's the word if, but there's no word then here. So, but did you know that even though there's is no word then here, still this is a conditional statement. Why? Because if a man is honest, this is the what is this? What is this? The condition, right? The condition, and then he does not steal is the. Did you remember the hypothesis? Did you remember? Right. Even though this is not written in a form of if and then statement, but it implies that there is the word if, a man is honest, the the hypothesis, right? If a man is honest, this is our hypothesis followed by our conclusion. He does not steal. So even though there's the word then here, but still this is a conclusion. He does not steal. Therefore, it is already written in a form of conditional statement because we have the what you call this the if. What is our if hypothesis, and then next is our second statement is the conclusion. So even though there is no word then here, but the statement based on their meaning is the first statement is the hypothesis and the second statement is conclusion. Therefore, we can conclude that this is a conditional statement. So after identifying the conditional statement, if P, then Q. Okay, that is, let's identify first the P and Q statement. So our P is if a man is honest. So our P is a man is honest because it is written in a pattern of if P. So we have if P. So what is our P? A man is honest. So our P is a man is honest, followed by the word then. Since there's no word then here, but the second statement, it implies of the conclusion. Therefore, we can consider this as our Q. So he does not steal. So that is our Q. So we're done with identifying our P and Q statement. So let's proceed with the second step, which is using the conditional statement table as a pattern guide. So here, so let's first with the converse. So under converse, the condition is if Q, then P. So Q implies P. So write the word if here, if, and then what is our Q? He does not steal. So we have he does not steal. So if he does not steal, comma, based on the pattern, comma, followed by the word then. That's why we have the word then here. Then followed by P. What is our P? A man is honest. So a man is honest. Therefore, by simply following the pattern, we can conclude that our converse statement is if he does not steal, then a man is honest. Okay, is this clear? Okay, let's proceed with the inverse statement. In inverse statement, we have the pattern if not P, then Q. So or the in based on the symbol, we have the negation P implies Q. So let's have the pattern. We have if, copy the word if here, and then not P. What is the negation of P or the opposite meaning of P? A man is honest, so that is not honest or dishonest. So after the word if, a man is not honest because that is the negation of P. followed by the word then. So we have the word then here based on the pattern. Then last is the cue. What is our cue? He does not steal. So he does not steal. So that's why we have he does not steal here. So therefore, by simply using the pattern of the inverse statement, we can conclude that the inverse statement is if a man is not honest, then he does not steal. That is the inverse statement. Then let's proceed with the contrapositive. So under contrapositive, the condition is if not Q, then not P. So here in contrapositive, it is important for us to identify the negation of both P and Q, wherein we are writing first the Q, then the P, followed by the P. So by using the pattern this, if not Q, so the copy the word if, so what is our not Q? The opposite, he does not steal. So obviously we cannot write not up before not or after not. Why? Because it will sounds like he does not steal. He does not steal. There is no word he does, or there's no phrase such as he does not steal, because that will be grammatically incorrect or it will be redundant. So instead of putting some not here, not steal, let's remove the word not, because by removing not, we can now get the opposite definition of our cue. He does steal. So he does steal. Okay, that will be the opposite of that. So the word if, copy the word if, then the opposite of cue, and that is he does steal. So that's why we have he does steal after if, followed by the word then. So we have the word then here, the word then followed by not P, or the opposite of P, and the man is honest. The opposite of that is the man is not honest. That's why after then we have the man is not honest. So by following the pattern, we can now conclude that our contrapositive statement is if he does not steal, then a man is honest. I will repeat, if he does steal rather, then a man is honest. So by simply following this contrapositive pattern. So let's proceed with biconditional. So under biconditional, we have P if and only if Q. So or P biconditional Q. So what is our P? So our P is a man is honest. So a man is honest. Okay, then we have if and only if here, then follows by Q. What is our Q? He does not steal. That's why we have after if and only if, we have he does not steal. So it was written before P. So we have P before if and only if. That's why we have a man is honest, then followed by if and only if and only if. Then what is our Q? After if and only if is our Q. What is our Q? He does not steal. So by using this biconditional pattern, we can conclude that our biconditional statement is a man is honest if and only if he does not steal. So that is under of biconditional statement. So is this clear? Is this clear? Okay, so let's proceed in our next activity or last example. If a volcano is active, then it will erupt. I will repeat. If a volcano is active, it will erupt. So what did you notice about this statement? This was written in a form of if and then statement. So if it is written in a form of if and then statement, or the hypothesis and the conclusion statement, so we can now easily identify that this is a conditional statement. So if it is conditional statement, we can easily identify what is our P and Q, because that is the first step, or step one. Identify the P and then the Q. So the word if here, so follows by P. So therefore, after if is our P, here our after if is a volcano is active. Therefore, we can conclude that this is our P, comma, then follows by the word then. So that's why we have then here. After then is our Q. Therefore, after then is our Q. Therefore, this is our Q. It will not erupt. It will not erupt is our Q. So by identifying our P and Q, we conclude that our P is a volcano is active, and our Q is it will erupt. That will be our Q. So Let's proceed with step 2 by using the conditional statement table as a pattern guide. So let's discuss one by one. So under Converse, by using the pattern if Q, then P, or Q implies P. So write it in the word if first, because based on the condition if first, copy the word if here, followed by Q. What is our Q? It will erupt. That's why after if we have it will erupt. Then we have the after that we should have the word then here. Then that's why we have the word then here followed by P. So what is our P? A volcano is active. A volcano is active. So by following the pattern of a converse pattern, if Q then P, we can conclude that the converse pattern or the converse statement is if it will erupt, then a volcano is active. Okay? If I will repeat, if it will erupt, then a volcano is active. So that is under of a converse pattern. So then next is under of inverse pattern. So in inverse pattern, if not P, then Q. So we need to get the negation of P. So what is the negation or the opposite meaning of P? A volcano is active. So the opposite of that is not active or inactive. That's why we can have our negation P as the volcano is not active. So use the pattern if, then follow by not P. What is the opposite? A volcano is inactive. That's why we have here. Then follow by the word then after the word then is our Q. What is our Q? It will erupt. That's why we have after then here, it will erupt. So by using the inverse pattern, if not P, then Q, by following this pattern, we can conclude that our inverse statement is if a volcano is inactive, then it will erupt. So that is our inverse statement. So is this clear? So okay, let's proceed with the contrapositive statement or by using this contrapositive pattern. So if not Q, then not P. Here in a contrapositive statement, it is very important for us to identify the negation of both P and Q. However, the negation of Q will come first before the negation of P. So what is our, let's follow this pattern. If, copy the word if, then the negation of Q. What is our negation of Q? The opposite of Q. It will erupt. Therefore, the negation of this is it will not erupt. That's why we have after if, we have it will not erupt here. Then followed by the word then. So we have the word then here. After then is not P. What is the opposite of P? The volcano is not active or inactive. That's why we have after then is a volcano is inactive. So by simply using or following the pattern, if not Q, then P, therefore we can conclude that if it will not erupt, then the volcano is inactive. Okay, is this clear, the contrapositive? Okay, let's proceed with the biconditional. So under biconditional, we have if as the biconditional pattern, P if and only if Q. So what is our P? A volcano is active. So right, a volcano is active here, followed by if and only if. So that's why we have if and only if here. Then followed by Q. What is our Q? It will erupt. It will erupt. So by using the pattern P if and only if Q, we can conclude that our biconditional statement is a volcano is active if and only if it will erupt. So this is easy to identify if the given statement is biconditional. Once you encounter the word if and only if, we can easily conclude that that is a biconditional statement. So let's summarize our lesson for today. So step one in identifying our conditional statement is first is identify your P and Q statement. Then step two is use the pattern guide or use the conditional statement table as a pattern guide. So what is that table or conditional statement table? And that this table is stated below here. We discussed that already, right? So the question is, why it is important for us to be aware of this conditional statement by conditional, inverse, contrapositive. What do you think is the importance of this? Because this kind of statement is really exists in our real life experience or in our daily living. Okay, there's an existence of this kind of statement. Actually, let's have this first. The first application of this kind of statement is Bible use conditional statement. Even Bible. Okay, so what is the evidence that even Bible use conditional statement? Okay, the example is in the book of First John. So in the book of First John chapter 1 verse 6 stated that if the word if we say we have fellowship with him while we walk in darkness, then we have the word then here, follows by our conclusion. We lay we lie and do not practice the truth. I will repeat. Our conditional statement is if and then statement, right? So in verse, let's proceed with this verse 8. If the word if we say we have no sin, then we deceive ourselves and the truth is not in us. So even Bible is using the conditional statement. Even Bible use conditional statement, right? So the next is the lyrics of the songs use conditional statements such as biconditional, inverse, converse, and contrapositive statement. Maybe we are singing a song or we are fan of singing and we are not aware that the lyrics of the song is containing by conditional statement, inverse, converse, contrapositive statement, right? And there are a lot of songs, right? And then the example is this. Are you familiar of the song? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, right? Even that kind of children's song use conditional statement because we have the word if. There's no word then, right? But it implies then because our if and then statement speaks of the hypothesis and the conclusion, right? So the hypothesis is if you're happy and you know it, right? Then follows by our conclusion, clap your hands. Okay? So these are the sets of songs, okay, with the common conditional statements such as biconditional, inverse, converse, contrapositive statement. So we have the Rolling Stone, the Beatles song, Tony Bennett, Charlie Pride, Waylon Jennings, Shania Twain. So aside to songs, we are even the movies. Movies use conditional statement. So example, here we have the if and only it were true, right? Even in the title, it is obviously a conditional statement. So if only I were that warrior, then here, welcome home, but only if you're not faint-hearted. So not only in the title, but also in the script or dialogues of the character in the movie, they are using conditional statement. Next time, while you are watching televisions, even it is a movie or not, a news or not, just try to observe the conditional statement used in that kind of dialogues or script. And then next time, if you are going to sing a song, or just try to think of your favorite song, and then try to analyze in the lyrics of the song, what is the conditional statement used under that song, right? This lesson, the biconditional, inverse, converse, and the contrapositive statement include the conditional statement is very useful in our daily life and we are using it. Maybe we are not aware before, but at least now we are aware that we are using that kind of statement. So that's that's the end. So that's all. I hope you understand a lot and I hope you really know a lot of things about this kind of statement, and next time you will be conscious or will be anxious about how this statement exists in our daily life. So that's all for today. Goodbye class and thank you for watching this video discussion.